Imagine being trapped 30 feet underground. The space is so narrow you can't even turn your body. Above your head, thousands of bombs are falling, while right in front of you, death awaits in total darkness. This isn't just any war movie. This is the raw, subterranean cruelty that actually happened. Welcome to the deadly Siuchi tunnels, where the sun never shines, and every breath could be your last. What truly happened down there that left even the world's strongest military powerless? Let's dive into the story. The film begins at the Bin An Dong Base, Cu District, South Vietnam in 1967. The place is seen in complete ruins after being bombed by American military aircraft. At the edge of the lake, we are introduced to a female gorilla named Ba Huong. There, she finds several bodies floating. Then, as she spots a small bamboo stick, she immediately opens fire. It turns out a man named Tudap has infiltrated the war zone. He is then taken to the underground tunnels of the headquarters of the South Vietnamese National Liberation Front guerrillas.
Họ còn sống. Loan. Có cái gì làm chứng? Tôi tìm nhầm anh.
There, we meet a guerrilla commander named Bai Teo, who asks where Tudap came from and why he came there.
Đang ngủ không?
Tudap answers that he is from Long Dien and works as a mechanic in a car workshop. His purpose for coming there was to avoid conscription. Then, Tudap explains that he infiltrated the area to find Ba Huong because he knows her. He also mentions that Ba Huong's mother was a childhood friend of his mother. Ba Huong then asks if he has proof that he is the son of her mother's childhood friend, but Tudap cannot prove it. For the time being, Tudap is hidden in an underground bunker.
Nè.
There, he is asked to repair damaged weaponry.
Anh là thợ cơ khí hả?
The scene then shifts to show a chief officer named Hong arriving at the location. He asks Bai Teo, how many guerrilla members are here? It turns out there are only 21 guerrillas fighting and surviving in that place. Bai Teo takes him on a tour through the multi-level corridors.
Yeah, để coi coi. Tao đậu rành cái thứ này.
Starting from the kitchen, food storage, sleeping quarters, and the main meeting room. Bai Teo also shows a map of all the places and rooms within the tunnel, including the locations where they have set up booby traps.
Nhỏ tầng 2 nãy mình vừa đi qua, tầng nào cũng có đường thông lên.
A few days later, a logistics package of weapons arrives and is brought into the tunnel. Bai Teo then introduces Hai Tung to his team members. Hai Tung is the head of the N-38 Strategic Military Intelligence Unit. Bringing them here was no easy task, says Bao. They will be on standby to perform their duties in the third-level tunnel.
Dụng cụ y tế, còn quý hơn vàng nữa.
Cho anh Bảy ơi.
Các đồng chí.
When the troops disperse, Hai Tung informs Bai Teo that the weapon equipment was sent by Uncle Sao. Uncle Sao is a high-ranking officer in the guerrilla army. Hai Tung also reads a duty letter sent by Uncle Sao to be given to Bai Teo. The content of the letter informs Bai Teo that their mission is to protect the transmission and communication of the intelligence team in intercepting American military communications. This mission turns out to be highly classified. Uncle Sao's order makes Bai Teo worried because the presence of communication transmissions at his base will put the base in danger. If the transmission signal is detected by the Americans, their base will be bombed. After reading the letter, Hai Tung then burns it. The next morning, they begin installing communication transmission cables for the intelligence team. Once installed, they immediately start operating the communication transmission.
Tắt tín hiệu. Báo cáo, có máy bay.
However, of course, the communication signal is detected by the Americans, causing the place to be bombarded. The following day, Tudap is seen with the others collecting unexploded American bombs. He opens the tip of a bomb and brings it into the bunker to dismantle it. It seems he will use the bomb's explosives to create anti-tank landmines. And this is how they make landmines to destroy tanks.
Cách này lâu. Làm cách khác. Bỏ xuống!
Anh cho em xin ra ngoài. Anh phải nghĩ tới chị Ba Hương chứ. Chị Thương. Anh bớt khùng anh Tứ. Đốt tiền anh Tứ.
While eating together, Baiteo tells his colleagues that Uncle Shao ordered them to guard the communication team because a massive attack from the American military, which they call Operation Cedar Falls, is imminent. Operation Cedar Falls was a military campaign conducted by the U.S. Army and the Army of the Republic of Vietnam. The operation was carried out to destroy the bases of the Vietnam Liberation Army in the Iron Triangle, an area of 155 square kilometers between the Saigon River and Highway 13, about 40 kilometers north of central Saigon. The Cu Chi tunnel system was a vital base for the Liberation Army. For that reason, Baiteo asks his team to do several things. First, do not cook food above the tunnel. Second, if the enemy is above the tunnel, they must remain silent and are not allowed to fire shots so that their tunnel is not discovered. Third, they must not retreat when they attack and must fight until the last drop of blood. The next morning, Ba Huong comes to the bunker to meet Tudap. There, Tudap has successfully repaired several damaged weapon magazines. Not long after, they hear an American reconnaissance plane passing by, and Tudap immediately exits the bunker. Tudap leaves the bunker because he wants to shoot at the American plane. Ba Huong tries to stop him, but Tudap cannot be restrained. After that, Baiteo asks Ba Huong who shot at the American plane. Tudap answers that he was the one who did it. He took that risk to obtain aluminum from the casing of the bombs dropped by the Americans. Aluminum and scrap metal are valuable for us to exchange for food, says Ba Huong.
Thôi được.
Tôi xin hứa.
Tôi sẽ xin cấp trên cấp lương thực cho các đồng chí.
In the evening, they are seen gathered above the tunnel. One of the girls there sings to entertain them.
Không thương em cũng đừng lấy gương đưa đa giấc màng anh. Thôi rồi một.
Not long after, Uncle Sao arrives, and they are very happy to meet the high-ranking guerrilla officer.
Xuống đây nhậu tụi bay.
Uncle Sao says he knows that Baiteo has worked the hardest to maintain this tunnel. Therefore, he asks the others to help him carry out his duties. Uncle Sao also says that all of their struggles will be recognized by the state and all the people. Show them how strong our tunnel is.
Baiteo không ép tụi bay quá chứ.
Dạ có chú trời. Trời.
Chim, Viet Cong. Vẫn ở ngon.
Nhiệm vụ của nó rất nặng nề.
A few days later, they conduct a trial of the anti-tank mine that Tudap built.
Nguyên một cái kéo.
After the mine is detonated, Tudap gives Ba Huang a weapon he assembled as a gift. Ba Huang, receiving the weapon, is naturally happy and immediately tests it. She fires shots while American planes bombard the area. After that, Baiteo invites his colleagues to watch a film in the underground room. Meanwhile, above ground, the Americans are bombing, but they are instead occupied watching a video. The video is played to ignite their fighting spirit. They watch a recording of their comrades' struggles, fighting guerrilla style against the enemy. They look very happy and often clap their hands, witnessing the heroic actions of the fighters. Outside, bomber planes continue to bombard the place. Despite the continuous bombing, Tudap and his colleagues continue to work on making anti-tank bombs and repairing damaged weapons. After the bombardment, Baiteo and his colleagues exit the tunnel to inspect. Not long after, they hide again as an American helicopter passes by.
Nghĩ lập chạy, quyết chơi khô máu mình rồi.
They also see Tudap already there, planting anti-tank mines. Through a telescope, they see American forces arriving with full strength. They set up tents and intend to attack intensely. The scene then shifts to where Ba Huang takes Tudap to a safe hiding place by the lakeside. There, Tudap gathers the courage to hold Ba Huang's hand. It seems the seeds of love are starting to grow between the two of them.
Nhớ vị trí này nha. Sắp có càng lớn.
A few days later, the American military arrives with full force. Tudap is ready and brings 2 anti-tank mines he assembled to be planted at the site.
Thằng khùng tự đạp này.
When American heavy equipment passes over, the mines successfully explode. However, as a result of the explosion, one of their colleagues is burned to death, and the American military has now surrounded the place. Meanwhile, Ba Huang and 2 of her colleagues who are inspecting the riverside bunker find one of their comrades dead due to American poison gas.
Cấm, bây giờ ở đây.
She then sets up a grenade in the corridor. When a tracking dog approaches, she shoots it and immediately retreats inside to hide. Meanwhile, the American soldiers who enter the tunnel explode because they step on a mine. Shortly after, their tunnel is flooded with water by the American military. They immediately prepare to leave, but one colleague is left behind. A colleague named Coffe decides to go ahead first, while Ba Huang searches for the missing comrade. After finding her colleague, they quickly head back inside. However, unfortunately, the corridor is already flooded deeply enough that the hatch door cannot be opened. Coffe then meets Baiteo and informs him that the tunnel by the lake has been flooded, and Ba Huang is trapped there.
We cannot locate them. Over. There may be other entrances. We're searching for the entrance to the tunnels now.
Để cuốn vào hướng một khảo. Tụi mày bơm nước cho địa đạo.
Papa 975.
After successfully destroying the American water pump, the water inside the tunnel recedes, and Ba Huang and her colleague are saved. After the American attack ends, they go out to retrieve the body of their colleague who was burned to death. Seeing the condition of their comrade leaves them in shock. Baiteo then digs the earth to bury his friend. A few days later, the Americans return in colonies. They come from the west side. Seeing this, two guerrillas immediately fire B-40 rocket launchers. The scene then shifts to when they intercept American communications. The Americans are seen having difficulty blocking the Viet Cong base from the riverside. "We need to assign soldiers to infiltrate and attack inside the tunnel from the west side," says the American soldier they successfully intercepted. Viet Cong then tells Baiteo that the Americans are attacking from all sides, and the west side of the tunnel has been destroyed. Hearing this, Baiteo suggests using the scorched forest route in the south side tunnel. That route is isolated and difficult to access. Additionally, there is another route underwater. That route is difficult to block, says Bao. He then also expresses worry about his subordinates because they are still very young. They are only good at tunnel work with small enemies and setting traps. However, in facing American troops, they have no experience. Baiteo is worried they will fail the mission to protect the intelligence communication team. However, Viet Cong asks the team to hold out for 2 more days because there is still one important report that needs to be made by the communication team. Only after that is finished will the guerrillas be allowed to retreat. Hearing this, Baiteo immediately becomes angry. He states that they will not retreat no matter what happens. At night, Ba Huang visits Tudap at the lakeside bunker. Then, Tudap invites her to swim in the lake. Tudap also tells Ba Huang that he has planted 5 bombs along the lake and will detonate them tomorrow morning. Tudap promises that after all this is over, he will look for Ba Huang inside the tunnel. The scene continues with Uncle Shao returning to meet them. They observe a moment of silence to remember their fallen comrades. After that, Uncle Shao says that they are all heroes for managing to hold back the American forces for so long. The communication transmission must remain functional to intercept American communications. Therefore, Uncle Shao asks them to continue protecting this tunnel. Upon leaving, Uncle Shao asks 2 female guerrillas to go with him. They say their goodbyes and depart. After walking a distance, they must be very careful because the area is filled with American troops. Sure enough, not long after, American soldiers open fire. After successfully escaping the attack, they then enter an underground tunnel. Unfortunately, the tunnel is not yet finished. They only find a dead end, while the American military manages to find them. The wounded Uncle Sao forces his colleagues to go ahead and leave the place, while he stalls for time. However, his colleagues refuse and do not want to leave him.
Tôi đã bị thương.
Meanwhile, from the outside, American soldiers shout, telling them to come out and surrender. If not, the American soldiers will kill them all. But Uncle Sao asks his colleagues to continue digging the tunnel and escape while he surrenders himself.
Không tự đi được.
One wounded Charlie. Apparently a senior officer. Blizzard 6, this is Hound 11.
Nào, và đánh như thế nào?
How?
Tao sẽ khai báo.
Hàng là đủ. He said his surrenders.
Không kêu họ ra hàng.
Mình tao hàng là đủ.
Why don't you call them out?
Những người khác đâu?
Chỉ có hơn 10.000 người. 2.000 người.
After the death of Uncle Sao and his colleagues, the guerrillas immediately set up various booby traps. Outside, Tudap stands by with the bombs planted along the lake. Meanwhile, in the tunnel, they set up sharp iron traps, grenades, bamboo spikes, and even several venomous snakes. This is done to welcome the tunnel rats of the enemy who will enter. The awaited time arrives. Tudap is seen standby in position. And as the American troops pass the lake, the explosions occur shortly after. Several American soldiers dare to enter the narrow tunnel specifically designed by the guerrilla forces to be difficult for large-bodied soldiers to pass. Despite their body size being an obstacle, some soldiers still force themselves to crawl in.
Em có tội với anh Bảy. Em có tội với...
Found. Supply depots prepared to support long-term combat.
There are a lot of sleeping quarters down here.
We'll gather items for further examination later.
Not long after, American fighter jets pass overhead and begin dropping bombs on the area. After being bombarded, Baiteo is seen still alive and meets Tudap and Bahuang. But unfortunately, Baiteo is in a dying condition due to the gunshot wounds he sustained. Baiteo says the intelligence communication team has completed the mission and they managed to get out of the tunnel. Our mission to protect them is finished. He then gives Bahuang a book to keep. Not long after that, Baiteo breathes his last.
Xong nhiệm vụ.
Tudap and Bahuang then walk out of the tunnel and move the bodies of the American soldiers onto a raft, letting them be carried away by the lake current. The two of them are seen diving into the lake to swim to a safe place, preparing for the battles to come. During the war, the Cuchi Tunnel was one of the vital intelligence transit points of the Strategic Intelligence Network. The Cuchi Tunnel contributed greatly to the final victory on April 30th, 1975, which ended the 21-year struggle for the independence of the Vietnamese nation. The 400 square kilometers of Cuchi District witnessed 50,454 major battles, 10,101 civilian deaths, and more than 10,000 officers and soldiers who sacrificed themselves.